Hey everyone, I'm Terry G. If you can take a second, can you please subscribe? Take another second and hit that like button. I'd really appreciate it. You know, I've been sober for many years, a few decades to say the least. And I just want to go back to the early 90s when I first started off, and what were some of the things that I found really troubling in early sobriety. I'm going to talk about two major ones that really contributed to my struggles in early sobriety. The first one was this overwhelming feeling of loneliness. Like, I mean lonely. Like, I remember walking back from 12-step meetings and crying my eyes out because I was so lonely. You know, it was painful. It was painful. And it's obvious why I was so lonely in some ways, right? Because when I quit drinking, my girlfriend, my buddies, my work life, they all changed, because I was in the restaurant business and I had a truckload of friends, but we're all alcoholics and drug addicts. So when you quit drinking, that's one of the things they tell you to get rid of, right? All your drinking buddies, and which I did. And my girlfriend at the time, she used to drink a lot too, so she left. So I was here by myself. So physically, I could understand why I was so lonely, because I had to change everything. I had to change my life, change my people, places, and things when it came to my alcoholism. But there was another kind of loneliness that I found that took me a long time, or much more time to get over. And that was my emotional loneliness. And let me explain what I'm talking about. When I came into AA, when I came into the 12-step program, I had a lot of emotional difficulties, like all of us do, right? Because we drank all our emotions down. We never dealt with anything. We just drank and drugged, right? That's all we did. Most of us did anyways. But alcohol was my main drug. And because I felt so guilty about things, because I felt so much shame and anger and, you know, hurt and pain and resentments, even if I was in a room full of people, I still felt lonely. When I was talking to my friends that I met in 12-step programs, I would still have a sense of loneliness. And I understand what that was about now, and I could put language to it. But in the beginning, I couldn't. Because when you're emotionally in pain or have resentments, it separates us from people. It really does. And when I look back, all that loneliness, physically and emotionally lonely, the emotional loneliness was from the pain that I was feeling, the fear that I was feeling of all the damage and all the bridges I burnt in my drinking. And it was emotional loneliness, I call it. But the reality of it is, and I'm just touching on it, okay? I'm just touching on it. The reality of it is, things did get better. My emotional intelligence got better. I went to counseling. I started feeling better about myself. And because I got rid of a lot of that negativity out of my body, the resentments through 4 and 5, and did the 8 and 9, the amends and all that kind of stuff, I started to feel closer to my fellows in AA, and 12-step program, and started feeling less lonely. I felt the emotional loneliness that I described was probably one of the biggest ones that hindered me when it came to loneliness, because I don't mind being by myself. In early sobriety, I did. But, you know, being lonely and feeling out of place is a really hard thing to do, right? It's a really hard thing to live with. It really is. And the best thing I can say for me, what I did, is I just dug into the 12-step program. I went to counseling, and I never stopped trying to feel better, trying to get out of that state of mind. You know, you can be lonely in a crowd of 1,000, and usually because you're emotionally hung up on yourself. You got self-centeredness going on like crazy. Second one that I felt that really I found overwhelming was boredom. Boredom in sobriety. Oh my God. And that again is obvious, right? It's obvious why we are so bored, or why I am so bored in sobriety, is because everything I did, everything, sex, dancing, work, family reunions, weddings, days off, days on, it didn't matter. You know, it didn't matter what kind of day it was or what time of day it was. There was one thing and one thing in common all the time, was the drink, the alcohol. And that alcohol made my life exciting. Either we're talking about the party the night before, or we're thinking about the party, or I drank all my money away boozing it. You know, I was anxious or fearful I was going to get kicked out. You know, the negative effects of drinking keep us emotionally and psychologically charged. You know, getting in that fight, you know, talking about that fight the day after. Those kind of things keep us emotionally and mentally charged in life. So it makes things exciting. Drinking was exciting, right? It was something to do all the time. It filled the void of our lives. If we're happy, sad, or glad, or mad, or whatever, it didn't matter. We just drank. So it helped us cope with life, or seemingly help us fill our day in and amuse ourselves by getting drunk. So if you're feeling bored, like I mean damn right bored in your sobriety, you come by it honestly, because a lot of people feel very bored, and boredom can be a trigger to go back out drinking. So can loneliness. They all can be triggers to go back out drinking. You know, if you're lonely, you might want to go back out to the bar and meet some friends. So you go back out pretending you're going to drink Coke, and before you know it, you're back in the sauce. And same with being bored in recovery. It's a trigger. It can make people go out and drink again. It really can. It didn't me, but it could have easily, because let me tell you something, I felt very bored. But I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you more, something you can do. Everything you did drunk, or everything you did when you drank, you can do sober. Or you have to pick up new hobbies like I did. I started camping. I started riding bicycles. I started playing guitar. I started doing a lot of things that I missed out on. You know, I went to parties sober. I went dancing sober. I started dating sober. That was really nerve-wracking. I did all those things that everybody else does sober. I did it. And my life became action-packed. And nowadays, I wish I was bored. A lot of times, my life is too busy with life events, right? When you get older, you have a wife, you get married, or you have a husband, you have children, you know, you have a job. All those things that sobriety gives us fills in our day, and you'll say to yourself, geez, I wish I had some downtime. Because becoming a productive citizen in life takes a lot of effort. It really does. I'm just going to pick up my coffee here. I left here just to pick it up because I can't stand walking and drinking coffee, and plus it was too hot. So your life will get full again once you start participating in it. That boredom should go away. And if you're anything like me, you probably wish you were bored some days. You could just catch up with life. Because sober life, like I said, getting a job, having a family, being responsible, paying bills, all those sort of things, you know, fill our day in. They really do. Okay? So they were the two things that really affected my early sobriety. I managed to deal with them, and I was never going to drink again. When I came into recovery, I was never, ever going to pick up the bottle again. I was too insane. I was too crazy about it. You know, when I drank, I never wanted to go back to it. Early sobriety was very difficult for me and very painful for me, but I would never change it. I would never change it. It was the building blocks that gave me the life I have now, and my life is pretty good. It really is. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I have 33 years of sobriety now, and what I'm talking about today are real things that happen in sobriety. They're real things that happen. Go to your 12-step program, get support, If you feel lonely, tell people you're lonely. If you feel bored, do something to occupy yourself. Go to a meeting, help other people. Do all those things you want to do. Go running, go jogging, go to the gym. Make a nice dinner for yourself. Do stuff where you don't feel so bored. Alcohol was our life. It filled every nook and cranny of our lives. It did mine, and it was my best friend. No wonder I felt so lonely. So get out there and start participating in your sobriety and fight back. Being in recovery, we don't give 100%. We have to give 150%, especially in early recovery. We have to give a lot of effort in order to get this ease and comfort that people talk about in recovery rooms. Okay, my name is Terry G. This is an alcohol-free life channel where we learn to live sober one day at a time. You can take a second, please subscribe, take another second and hit that like button. I'd really appreciate it. God bless, and I'll see you next week, okay? Life is going well. It's really humid today. It's the August long weekend here in Canada, Ontario, Ottawa. And tonight I'm going to a meeting. That's what I'm going to be doing tonight. See you later. Bye.